Hey guys, welcome to our kitchen renovation. Come along with us as we transform this kitchen with the dark cabinets into a farmhouse style kitchen. These are photographs of the kitchen before the renovation. The upper cabinets are being saved, and the one cabinet by the window is coming down. This countertop is coming out. It's all going to be one level. This is the cabinet that's coming off the wall, and some floating shelves will be added there. These are some items that we'll be using throughout this renovation, and I will let you know when we're using those items as we go along. I am using the stain blocking bonding. And this is my cabinet paint, and the Dove White is what I've chosen. Here's Mr. Fix-It starting to take the cabinet doors off, and we're using the Ziploc bag to put the hardware in, and we're marking whether it's top and bottom and which part of the cabinet it will go to. And here I am cleaning up all of those doors with that crud cutter. This gets off all of the stains, any greasy stains, fingerprints, and all that. And then we will also go about doing a little bit of light sanding, and that's just for the paint to adhere to the cabinet doors and all of the cabinet base as well. And of course, light sanding on all of the cabinet base. A good rule of thumb is if you're going to paint it, sand it, and if you sand it, tack cloth it. And this is our son, Stuart. He has come to help this week, and we are so thankful for that. So I would have a little bit hard time helping Mr. Fix-It get this cabinet off the wall. So thankful he is here to help with that. And then on that wall, some of the nail holes or screw holes will have to be filled in with some spackle, and then also lightly sanded and getting ready to paint that. That microwave was just a bear to get off of the wall. And I am moving the microwave down under the cabinets. And here we're all doing some sanding, getting ready for the primer to go on the base of the cabinets. Mr. Fix-It using that tack cloth after all of the sanding. And then here we have the bonding or the primer paint. All of the cabinet tops are being replaced, so they're being taken out. This is our beautiful daughter-in-law, Cassie. And although she has to work from home, she decided to come and give some moral support for these guys as we're getting along through on this kitchen renovation. Just a light sanding will do on these doors, nothing major, just scuffing it up a little so that that primer will bond to these cabinets. And then here I am using the tack cloth to get off all of the dust, because you want to make sure there's no dust residue when you're using that primer and then your final coat of your cabinet paint. So you're basically just sanding off the shine on there. So of course, if you have the cabinets that don't have any paint on them or varnish at all, it just needs a light sanding and using your tack cloth. These cabinets had the little bumper guards on them, And even when taking those off, it left like a glue residue. And that was something that the crud cutter didn't cut off. So I'm taking a scraper and just very lightly scraping that glue off and then continuing to sand, because I want to make sure that everything is off. If not, it's not going to come out right. Even though this is on the inside of the door, when you open your doors, you are going to see this. You could put the little bumper guards back in the same place, but I just wanted to make sure that it is all done right and got all of that glue residue off of the doors. So guys, you can see that we have replaced some of the bottom cabinets. I have now 2 Lazy Susans in the corner. I wanted a wider drawer by the stove. And then we needed to replace the one on the right of the sink. A new sink base that my husband has cut out for the farmhouse style sink. And he will fix those doors later on. And the microwave is just a slide-in microwave. My husband has taken the cabinet and moved the drawer down underneath the cabinet or the microwave, and then made a solid shelf for that microwave. And of course it has an electrical cord that they have adjusted in the back so it will plug in. And all of that will get painted. The microwave will be pulled out and painted in that shelf as well. I have found that it's easier to go ahead and do all of my primer on all of the cabinet bases and the cabinet doors. And I don't have a whole lot of room. It's too cold to be out in the garage for a setup. So we have covered the dining room table and taped paper down around on the floor. So if there is any paint splashes, and going to give all of these cabinet doors and bases 2 coats, very thin coats of the primer. If you have any runs, this is your opportunity now to sand any of those runs off. But if you're doing a thin coat, you shouldn't have any problems. When you're painting your cabinets, be sure not to paint down where you've marked. Have a system when you take those down. We did A left, A right, B left, etc. And we marked it on the inside so that we know where those cabinet doors will go back up in the original place that they came down from. With the cabinets that did not have any paint or sealer on them, they actually will get 2 coats of primer and a very light sanding, and then they'll be ready for the cabinet paint to be applied. I already painted some cabinets in our last home we lived in, and I painted those white. I'll put that link below. It's just a very short video if you want to watch that. But I will let you know that I watched every video on YouTube about Valspar cabinet paint. I wanted to learn from everyone else's mistakes, not my own. So I watched those videos over and over just to see what problems that they had with the paint so that I did not make the same mistake. But this is the photo of the small galley kitchen that I had redone at our last home, and I'm hoping that these cabinets come out the same as those because I just love them. That it's also in the Dove White. I also want to let you know that I added just a piece of painter's tape on each one of the shelves inside the cabinet. So I'm painting just the inside of that base of the cabinet, that I'm not going to get that paint on the shelf and have to go back and clean it up. If you're wondering why I left everything in my cabinets, I did that instead of emptying them out and packing them up. If we need something out of those cabinets, we'll just rinse it out, wash it out, and use it. but this will be great spring cleaning project once everything is done, because I know when sanding, the dust settles on everything. It would be your prerogative to do what you wanted to do. I just decided to leave everything there and clean it up later and get this project done. Yeah, you could put a towel over them to cover them or something like that. I will do one section at a time after this kitchen is done, and I will pull everything out, clean it up, clean the shelves, and run it through the dishwasher if needed, and everything will be clean and ready for the year. One of the things that we learned during this kitchen renovation is that if you are going to use granite or quartz or a stone countertop, that it has to be all leveled out from your highest point. And fortunately, we had a family member that had one very nice level that we were able to use and get that all leveled up, ready for the countertops. I gave all of the base cabinets 2 coats of the primer, the bonding. Then all of the cabinet bases and the cabinet doors on both sides got 2 healthy coats of the Valspar cabinet enamel paint. One of the things that I want to mention about using this Valspar cabinet paint, which is enamel, is to make sure that you put your coat on and don't go back while it's sticky, because it will look blotchy and you think you missed a spot. But that's one of the things I learned about this paint, is just let it dry, but make sure and double check that you don't have any runs, and then put your 2 to 3 coats as recommended. Be sure and go by the recommended dry time for this enamel paint. After putting on the new hardware, the top cabinet doors are all ready to go up. We're still waiting on our appliances to come in. White appliances was very hard to find, but we did locate some that we like. Mr. Fix-It moved this electrical box around to the side of the cabinets. It used to be underneath towards the dining room, and also added the plug for the microwave insert in the cabinet. So guys, we found this awesome shiplap board, wall board at Lowe's. It was, I think, about $6 to $7 a board, so you can see that we didn't need too many. Here are the dimensions. You can get that in white. There was also a gray, so I just love the way it looks. It's real rustic. It's real coarse feeling. It's 5.5 inches by 6 feet, and this worked perfectly for the project that we wanted it for. Just up under the cabinet toward the dining room, and this is a close-up of it. I just fell in love with it. Mr. Fix-It did put the black coat of paint and used the nickels in between each board. And our son Stuart did the measuring and the cutting. Mr. Fix-It is putting up a wood strip, and we had painted those along with the trim paint, the same color as the baseboards, and we used 2 on the end of this wall and 1 that was turned backwards in the corner of the wall there on the left, and I just love it. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think of our kitchen renovation. Remember the cabinet that came down off of the wall? Well, that got 2 coats of the white paint, and that is the atrium white that we have on the walls in the kitchen and dining room and living room, which is sort of all combined. We bought one of these 24-inch cabinets from Lowe's, and Mr. Fix-It did his magic in creating this piece that allows the microwave, and he did put a border around it. Turned out really good. I'm really pleased with this, and a little area for a basket at the bottom. He also moved the whole drawer system down under that shelf of the microwave. The doors under the kitchen sink have not been done yet. Mr. Fix-It's going to take it to our son's shop and cut those down to size. The dishwasher's been put in. The baseboards or the cabinet trim has been pre-cut, but we're waiting for final measurements for the countertop before we glue and pin those on. But here is where we are at so far. This is part 1. Look for part 2. I didn't want the video to be too long, so I broke it up into parts. So coming in part 2, we still have to put up the range hood. We're putting up subway tile. Our countertop and our appliances all need to come in. So we still have a lot to share with you. We have some shelves to put up on the wall. So we still have lots more to share with you in our part 2 of our kitchen renovation. Thanks everyone for being here, and thanks for watching. Until my next video, I'll see you then.